He'd never. He trails off, his expression hardens. Pathetic. Pathetic. I just like redo every single line I read for him. Like he's supposed to be like whiny, like he sounds like his dad, but he doesn't have the hiss of his dad ever. Even though Lucius is totally losing his hiss. Like I'm like, and then like now he's like talking like a normal person all the time. He lost his evil. I think I'm symbolically taking out the inhuman nature of his voice. And it's on purpose. It's not out of laziness or lack of composure during reading his lines. It's completely on purpose. And respect my genius. Anyways. I'm so full of shit. Okay, pathetic. Pathetic. He repeats before... He does repeat it. Boom. What? Like 3 times. Before he turns and strides into the room, banging it shut behind him. I sit still for a moment on the floor, hugging my knees to my chest. I remember my mom and dad. And suddenly I feel as if I'm going to cry. I'm distracted when I hear voices outside my door. What are you doing here? Making a brief escape. Go back downstairs. Tell them I shall rejoin them shortly. Yes, father, Draco says, a hint of a smile in his voice. Are you finding it as boring as I am? Lucius's tone does not encourage an intimate note. Your aunt's company is somewhat tedious, I would admit. She doesn't seem to realize that the fanatistic isn't the most fascinating subject for a dinner party. Draco laughs, but Lucius does not join in with him. Go, Draco. I will be down shortly. I would like a quiet drink by myself for a few minutes. I heard the light crack of Draco's footsteps. Click. Sorry. I heard the light clicking of Draco's footsteps move slowly down the corridor before a drawer creaks open and bangs shut. There's a long pause. I pick myself up, looking at the door, because I know that he's on the other side of it. I'll bet he's going to come in. But he doesn't. A few more moments pass before Lucius' footsteps only a few steps away footsteps move only a few steps away before there's a sound. I read it completely correct, it just doesn't make sense. There's a sound of a door nearby opening and closing. Bastard! Why isn't he coming to see you? Shut up! That's what you were thinking. I shiver, telling myself it's from the cold. Hang on. Did Draco lock the door? I take a step forward, but then I stop, chickening out to go any further. Did he lock the door? I didn't hear him do it. I almost want to laugh at the parent stupidity. I take another step forward and another, slowly. See, I'm slurring her words. I'm so in a life. Slowly pushing myself further and further, tentatively reaching out and placing my hand on the door handle. I twist it in my grasp and the door swings open quietly. Barely daring to breathe, I step out of the corridor. I look around me. Could I try to escape? No. I can't even try it. There's no way I'm taking on all the wizards in this house. And even if I did, I wouldn't be able to get across the lake. In that case, there's only one thing I want to do right now. Sadism as it might be, but I can't take any more confusion and sod it. Why can't I go and visit him? He visits me often enough, God knows. Besides, I have to know. I turn to the left, where I heard his footsteps moving off to. I move silently to the door of his room. Terrified, but I don't care. I need to see him. I need to know. I reach out tentatively and rap my knuckles gently on the wood before I press my ear against the door. I hear a muffled curse come from the room before all of a sudden the door flies open and bugger, where did he go? I stumble forward into the room and I feel a strong vice-like arms around me, holding me up. What the hell are you doing here? He says, and yes, I've got the right room. I look up, and the room seems to be spinning for a moment, especially when he lets go of me, a disgusted look on his face. And the room spins and spins and spins again, and no, I don't feel right. He tucks his fingers intertwine around my wrist before he drags me across the room and sits me down in a chair by a fireplace with a small, dying fire in its grates. Huh. I should have realized how extravagant he would have furnished his room. Even in a bloody prison, he couldn't possibly let anyone believe that he's not above them. Not that I want a tapestry of luxurious four-poster bed in my room, of course. It's hardly top of my list of priorities. There's one tapestry in particular that catches my eye, one that shows a young woman eating an apple, watched avidly by a dark, black snake. I exhale in irritation. What is it? He asks sharply. I shake my head. I'm not stupid enough to tell him what a pretentious git he is. His fingers hook on my chin and he brings his face up to look at his... he might get a face full of vomit getting that close to her. Sorry. That never happened. I don't remember, but probably not. That would be gross. His fingers hook onto my chin and he brings my face up to look at his. I stare at him unflinchingly, feeling so much braver than usual somehow. How much did you have to drink? He asked disdainfully. Not much. Hardly anything, really. He raises his eyebrow at me as if he does not believe a word I'm saying. I need to explain myself. He needs to know why I'm here. I wouldn't have come, but Draco left the door unlocked. And I trail off then, not really knowing where I was going in the first place. He frowns at me for a few moments before he points his wand at the small table next to the chair I'm sitting in. A full glass of water appears next to his glass of brandy. He picks up the water up and hands it to me. Drink this, he mutters. It will clear your head. I can't stand it because he's treating me like a stupid little girl, and I'm not a child anymore. Not after everything he's put me through. He took my innocence away. You can't treat me like a young girl when it's him who made me grow up so fast. His disdain is almost as horrible as his hate. Excuse me. I take a glass from him and throw it across the room. Smashes on the stone floor, the water spilling across the flags. I don't need your ridicule. I don't need your ridicule. I hiss. He raises his eyebrow, a mocking smirk curling into his face. Oh, but you make it so easy for me to mock you, he mutters, and I can hear the ice in his voice. If you're not going to accept my hospitality, then you can just get out of my room. I don't want you here, in case you hadn't guessed. He steps back, allowing me to stand up, but I don't give him the satisfaction of doing what he wants. One of his eyebrows raises. So you want to do this the hard way? Very well. He grabs me by the arm and rushes me up to my feet, attempting to pull me to the door. I yank my arm out of his grip. No! I want to stay here! I shout. Do you think I came here just for you to throw me straight out again? He turns and looks at me in disbelief. Why did I just say that? What the hell am I playing? What am I doing? So you want to stay here, he murmurs. You never cease to amaze me. I would have thought that you would want to stay as far away from me as possible. That always seems to have been your intention in the past. He steps closer to me. I back away, stepping slowly away from him because he's got that dangerous look in his eye, the look that I know all too well now. He smiles, starting to enjoy himself. He steps even closer, backing me slowly across the room. So, he says quietly, why exactly did you come here? My mouth is dry. All the strange new confidences seem to leave me at this moment. No reason, he smirks. Deception is not your strength, is it? And with all those words, my confidence comes back to me, because I remember clear as day the last time he said that to me. You want to talk? I mutter, my voice shaking, as he walks me into a wall. He doesn't take his eyes off my face. You've turned deception into an art form. You've spent years hiding your true self from the world. You invaded Azkaban by doing so. For years and years, you've been convinced that you're a good man who just got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. I reach the wall, my back bumping up against it, but I keep looking into those cold, fathomless eyes. Ah, yes! You're very skilled at deception. Does this conversation have a purpose? He drawls, his voice decidedly bored. Yes, I muttered viciously. You see, I know how you did it. You managed to keep your true self hidden by making sure that no one ever got close enough to you to know you. Something hard is creeping into those eyes of his, but he doesn't say anything, not yet. So I push myself on. I've got to say it. I've got to know. You made the mistake in letting me get too close to you, Lucius, I whisper. Because as you let me get closer, I discovered something you don't want anyone to ever know. You don't want anyone ever to know. He steps forward so that he's standing even closer to me, his hand resting against the wall by the side of my head, trapping me. Did you? He mutters, his eyes boring into mine. He leans even closer. And what have you discovered, my little mudblood? I falter for a second, but no. Damn him! I will say it. I know that you want me, I whisper. And there. It's done. My words sit in the air around us. Not going back now. My breath is coming short with fear. He gives no reaction. His skin has gone slightly pale, and his eyes have darkened. But apart from that, nothing. And so I push myself onwards. It needs to be said. I'm so close by, so available to you. You should have chose to let yourself take what you want. And yet, I'm the one thing you won't allow yourself to have. I take a deep breath, willing myself to go on. I don't think you can stand it, I whisper, almost hoping he can't hear me. That's why you treat me so badly as you do. Because you would do anything and everything just to keep me away. For a long moment he doesn't say anything. He just stares at me, his eyes gray chips of fury, and then does it hit me what a terrible idea this was. What am I trying to achieve? What was I thinking coming here? At all? Why didn't I just stay in my room? You fancy yourself to be pretty perceptive, don't you? Why didn't I just stay in my room? I don't know, because you're a dumb bitch. I'm sorry. It's not okay with me. You fancy yourself to be very perceptive, don't you? He whispers viciously, freezing my veins with fear. I'm sorry, I say desperately, but it's too late. He snaps me hard across the face, so hard that my head snaps back and the blood fills my mouth. I'm bruised. All on my face is bruised. I know it. He grabs me by the throat